Dear viewers, welcome to this session of geography. So for today, I have a topic, of climate and also the different type of regions, and also the actual temperatures that are faced in each and every region of the continent, So in here we'll discuss more, okay, of the climatic regions, and then also we'll take a step in looking at different examination papers, So I collected many examination papers from all the past papers, and then from there I came up with the series of uh, questions, and then from there they were reflecting on this particular topic. So let's get started, So we'll start with the equatorial region, and the equatorial climate. So now, if you look at the equatorial climate is one of the climates, that is on the equator. Okay, so it exists on the equator. Okay, so we have some countries that are present on the equatorial region. Okay, so if we see the equatorial, we can say the equatorial is found between 5 degrees and 10 degrees north and south of the equator. Okay, so it is the greatest. Okay, we can say it's the greatest extent. Okay, is found in the lower lands of the Amazon. Okay, we have the Congo Basin. Okay, and then also we have Malaysia and the East Indies. Okay, we have Papua, and then we have New Guinea, and then also Philippines, Sumatra, and Java. So if we see here, we have Congo Basin there present, and then also here we have the Amazon and so many others. Okay, so in our case, we have even temperatures of these particular regions, which are these particular regions. So they experience temperature. So the equator has a temperature range. So if we look at temperature range, okay, the mean monthly temperature are always 27 degrees Celsius, okay? So with very little variation. So here the temperature do not vary. So they'll give you tables, and then from there you'll be able to identify the type of climate, okay, how it is tabulated. So you have to know that temperature is 27. Sometimes it can go, the maximum it can go, it's somewhere 32. 32 is the maximum, but probably within the range of 27. I'll try to show you from the tables, okay? So in here, I'll represent the table, to show the range of temperature. So these tables are important for you who are approaching the exams. Okay, so the examiner will give you this table, and then from there you will be able to identify the type of climatic region it is. So you have to take note that the temperature are within the range of 26 to 27. 26, 27, the maximum if it is, then that is 30, but not beyond 30. So it's within 26, 27, okay? So in all the particular months, it's within 23, 20, 27, 26 to 27, that's the range of temperature. And then rainfall is 170. Sometimes it can even go to 231, and then sometimes 290, 279. So this is the during summertime, okay? So if you look at March, April, May, June, July, okay, these particular months, there is the change of rainfall pattern. So rainfall is throughout the year. Okay, so that's what is important. So rainfall is throughout the year, and then these are ranges of temperature. Like for them say these are ranges of rainfall. So if we look at the rainfall graph, the rainfall graph can range, okay, from January. If we look at January, the rainfall is not that much, but there is much rainfall, but not that much. But the rain begin to exceed in March, April, and then it lowers in May, somewhere there. Then June rainfall pattern goes down, and then they increase gradually in October. Okay, there is heavy rainfall. Okay, that ranges from if we see from here, October 276. Okay, even though this wasn't clear much, this is 276. So 276 is it picks up. Okay, and then gradually lowers up to somewhere 231. Okay, so these are some of the range of rainfall patterns. Okay, So this is just an approximate. Okay, so we have also to know temperature. So this strip of the line, okay, represents temperature. So in an exam there, you have to be careful much with the graphs, because I've seen so far many pupils, they fail to interpret the particular strip of the line. So this strip of the line represents temperature. Okay, so temperature, it is 26. If we can see there is 26, 26, and then they to 27, somewhere 27, but does not reach 30. Okay, so this is for equatorial climate. Now, when it comes to equatorial climate, also we have to know exactly the period where the lens are most high. Okay, so there is no month without lens. So lens are throughout. So they can ask you the question, which particular region have lens throughout the year? So it is in the equatorial rainforest. Okay, so lens are throughout the year. So okay, so there are two periods where there are maximum lens. So the maximum lens, they are in April and October. Okay, so April and October, that's where we have maximum rain. Okay, so and then above, which shortly after, there is equinoxes. So equinox is there present. I hope you're able to remember the definition of an equinox. So equinox just stands for, or it describes the equal day and equal nights. So when the day, the time of the day and then time of the night, they are equal, we call that as equinox. Okay, so we can look at the vegetation. So we need to know the type of vegetation that is present. Okay, so the vegetation, the natural vegetation that we have, okay, we have mahogany, okay, we have ebony, we have green heart, and then we have rosewood. So if I can show you here, we have rosewood. So we have rosewood there, and then also let me state, we have mahogany, and then we have rosewood. Okay, so let me show you the rosewood. So this is one of the rosewood. Okay, this one here, this one is the rosewood, and then mahogany. Okay, so those are some of the trees that are present, and then we have characteristics of natural vegetation. Okay, so some characteristics of the natural vegetation we can state: all trees, they are tall. Okay, 20 to 50 meters. If we can see, trees are tall in there. Okay, they range 20 to 20 to 50 meters. Okay, and then trees are evergreen. Okay, so they are always evergreen, as we can see from here, for example, they are evergreen. And then forests lack undergrowth because of canopy layers. Okay, cut out light. So if we see from here, the particular these particular parts, the particular plants, they are less. Okay, even here we can say the particular plants, these plants, they are basically, they are undergrowth. Okay, they are undergrowth because of these ones, the canopy. Okay, so and then also we have trees, they form canopies. Okay, and then trees do not grow in pure stand. Okay, so they don't grow in pure stand in that form. So we need to know characteristics of the trees, because the examiner centers the focus on what are some of the characteristics of the natural vegetation in equatorial climate. So we need to have the ideas of the vegetation. Okay, and then also we have the other one. Okay, so the other climatic region. Okay, so we have the Mediterranean. Okay, so the Mediterranean, if we look at the Mediterranean, so please note the points. Okay, these particular shaded points. So this one is the Mediterranean. So we have the Mediterranean there. On California here we have the Mediterranean. Okay, then here we have Chile, we have the Mediterranean, and then also these points, they are Mediterranean. Okay, even some parts of Australia there are some Mediterranean climates. Okay, now these Mediterranean climates mostly, okay, they have locations. Okay, so Mediterranean climates lands are located in the west side of the continental land masses. Okay, they occur between the latitude of 30 and 30 degrees to 45 degrees north and south of the equator. Okay, so therefore we have that, and then also we have this type of climate is found in the following areas. So the following areas, we have the area around the Mediterranean Sea. So we have the areas around the Mediterranean Sea, and then also we have central Chile. So this particular area here in central Chile is one of it. Okay, and then we have Central California and San Francisco. So Central California and San Francisco here, that's where we have this type of Mediterranean climate. And then also D, we have southern and southwestern Australia, these ones, okay? So southern and western, southwestern Australia, so these points. So you have to know exactly these particular locations because this is the interest of the examiner. The examiner is interested in these points, okay, to identify the Mediterranean climate. And then from there, we have the particular temperature, okay, the graphical representation of climate. So now, if you look at the climate characteristics, okay, this is important. Temperature ranges from 21 degrees Celsius in hot season. So in hot season here, you experience 21 degrees of temperature. So it is very important for you to know a strip. Okay, we have to know a strip of the line which is given on the graph, on the bar chart to say. So this is the bar chart, okay? So this strip of the line indicates temperature, okay? So temperature in the hot season, okay, it ranges in 21 degrees. So if you can see here, we have December there, and then also January, there is maximum temperature. And then it falls to 10 degrees, okay? It falls to 10 degrees Celsius in cold seasons. But sometimes it's not always 10 degrees Celsius, sometimes it can be 14. Okay, so this sometimes can be deceiving onto people who are so fast. They can see this to be somehow the particular other type of temperature graphs. So here we have temperature can fall in the range of 10 degrees to 14, sometimes 15 degrees, okay? So that's one of the range of temperature. So if, even here when we look at this, okay, this is the actual representation of the particular table. So we have the month, and then here we have the temperature. So I'm not sure this demographic data, the point where I took it, okay, so it is just having one uniform range of temperature. I'm not sure about this. So we have the precipitation, okay. So precipitation, there we have 94, if you can see. So this is the somewhere, let me just say precipitation, okay. Precipitation begin to increase in March, okay. So if we look at March there, somewhere March, okay, look at March. March there, the particular rainfall patterns begin to increase, okay? So look at that. Rainfall begins to increase. That's what is important, okay? So the Mediterranean receives rains in winter. So they can ask you which particular climatic region receives the rainfall in winter. Okay, so we have that one. So in here, 124 begins to increase, but here there is rains. The rains are there present, but precipitates are there present, but increases in March. So March, April, if you look at it, okay, there is some increments, okay, and then June, somewhere there, okay, and then also we have some other months, okay, present. So rainfall mostly gradually changes with time, okay. So this demographic data is not good. All right, so I'll try to improve on this one. And then here we can have the particular summers. So in summer, to say warm and dry summers with the dry offshore trade winds, okay? So this is one of the particular characteristic. So the characteristic during summer there, the particular there is dry, there is warm and dry summers with the offshore trade winds, and then summer temperatures are moderate by coastal location of these regions, okay? And then also in winters, we have mild and wet winters. We have prevailing winds are not are wet on shore, westerly, okay? And then rainfall occurs in the winter. So rainfall mostly occurs in the winter. So in the winter, that's when rain occurs, okay? Then we can look at the type of vegetation that is present, okay? So the Mediterranean evergreen forests, they have some type of vegetation, okay? So we have cork, oaks, and then we have spine and Portugal, okay? We have redwood, okay? So let me show you if we have redwood, okay? Do we have redwood in here? Okay, so these are cedars, okay? Okay, so we have that. Then we have redwood giant, okay? that is of square of Central California. So we have eucalyptus, okay, of the Mediterranean forest in Australia, okay. And then I think we have this one, the eucalyptus tree, okay. So that's one of the eucalyptus. And then also we have the jara of southwest Australia, okay. And then we even have these other ones. The other ones that we have trees that are evergreen with the small other leaves, okay, the widespread roots and system to search for water. So some trees which are there, we have pine trees, and then we have cedars, and then we have firs, then we have the cypress, okay. So this is one of the pine tree. Let me try to show you a pine tree. So this is an example of a pine tree. Okay, these are pine trees, okay. They are present, they can be present, okay. Then let's look at the other one. So the other type of climatic conditions, we have the hot deserts, okay. So we have the hot desert climate. So when it comes to the hot desert climates, okay, they are located mostly, okay, so the major deserts, their location is on the west coast of the continents, okay. So we have the western coast of the continents, that one on top, okay. And then 15 degrees and 35 degrees north and south, okay. Yes, so the hot deserts, we have to know them, okay, because the examiner can ask you about hot deserts. So we have the Namib Desert here, and then this one here is the Kalahari Desert, okay. So we have the Kalahari Desert here, and then we have Atacama Deserts, okay. And then also we have the other ones that are there present. We have Arabian deserts, okay. We have Iranian desert, okay. We have Third Desert, okay. And then also we have Kalahari and Namib deserts, and then we have South American, okay. In South America we have Atacama, this one here, the Atacama Desert, okay. And then here we have Gobi. Gobi is one of it, but they didn't just mention it, okay. Then also we have Peruvian Desert, okay. So that's one of it, okay. So we need to know the desert, okay. So these are some of the deserts that are present, okay. So now when it comes to temperature, okay, so we have also to take note of the climatic conditions, okay, and characteristics. So when it comes to characteristics, okay, deserts have annual precipitation, okay, of more than 250 millimeters. Some deserts, for instance, parts of Sahara Desert, okay, part of Sahara and the mid Atacama have practically no rain. So these particular deserts, the rains are not present, okay. So therefore, plants, they just survive by their characteristics, okay. So I'll talk about the characteristics, and then in here, they can also ask you what are some of the reasons why there is no rainfall, okay, why there is less rainfall, okay. So the reasons why there is less rainfall in deserts, we can say deserts lie in high pressure belts, okay, where air is always descending, okay. In such conditions, rainfall does not develop, okay. So like for example, there is one question which most of the times is more triggering and more puzzling. Like for example, here also there is one question that talks about the equator. If there is a line of the equator there, and then there is a Horn of Africa. So here there are attitudes that are present, okay. So I'll talk about this also. There are attitudes that are present, and then those attitudes, they make the particular temperatures to be modified, okay, and therefore making rains not to form, okay. So I'll talk about that. So in here we also have the second part, the prevailing winds, okay, across the deserts areas are southeast trade winds and northeast trade winds, okay. These winds blow offshore, and they have very low relative humidity. Condensation is impossible, okay, and hence there is a permanent drought. So we have permanent droughts that are present. So we have to take note that in a desert there are permanent droughts, okay. So this is important for you to notice, okay. So permanent droughts are present, okay. So and then also we have temperature. Temperature in the deserts, okay, are high. throughout the year, and the average summer temperature is around 30 degrees Celsius. So temperature ranges from 30 degrees Celsius, okay? So that's the temperature range. I'll try to show the temperature range from here. So in here, this is what we have. So 26, like for example, in the first periods, okay, like June, okay, let me say January, February, March, April, okay, it is 26 to 29, okay, it is ascending, okay, so it's ascending, and then May, let me just say April, May, June, July, August, September, and October. The temperatures here, they are so high. So the secret of these tables, dear pupils, you have to know where if the temperature here, if the temperature at this particular point increases, okay, then you have to know that this particular representation is for the hot deserts, okay. So temperature in starting from May, June, July, August, okay, it increases, okay. So it increases even up to November, but gradually reduces in December. Okay, so this particular temperature range is for a desert. Okay, now for a desert itself also, okay, if we look at rainfall, okay, rainfall is in January, February, March, April, and then these particular points there is no rain. Okay, so note here there are no rains that are experienced. Okay, so the months are May, June, July, August, September. So in here there are no rains. Okay, and then the rains begin from October, November, December. This is the period of the rains. But this particular point of time there are no rains. Okay, take note of these months. Okay, so even here from the representation we have this. Okay, so in January the rainfall is high. Okay, and then from these particular periods like May, June, July, August, September, we don't have rains in this particular period. There are no rains which are variable in this period. But rains begin in October, November, December. That's when rains begin to be experienced. And then when it comes to temperatures, temperatures gradually increase as we are moving. If you look at the particular trip, so this trip of temperature increases in starting from May. Okay, let me just say starting from April, May, June, July, August, September. Okay, and then descends as we are going to December like that. So we need to know this trip of the line. Okay, so this represents the increment of temperature. Okay, and then also on the other part, we have characteristics of the desert vegetation. Okay, so if you look at desert vegetation, like we have the thorn trees and so many others. Okay, so the characteristics, okay, they have long roots to search for water, for groundwater, and then few or no leaves to reduce transpiration. Okay, so they have thin or no leaves, and then also we have waxy, leathery hair or needle-shaped leaves to reduce the loss of water through transpiration. Okay, and then also they have thick, okay, and then succulent stems to store up water for long droughts. Okay, since in the desert it doesn't rain, so the particular plants they store water in the stems. Okay, so their seeds have thick tough. This was to be tough. Okay, so they have thick tough skins. Okay, as a protection while they lie dominant during the very long period of time. So if you look at the seeds are somehow thick. Okay, they have the seed coats. The seed coats are so thick, and then also those seed coats they make the seed to lie in the soil for many years, even for years and years. Okay, without water, and then when the rains, for example, rain, that's when they germinate. So they can ask you, the examiner can ask you on the characteristics. So we have to know these characteristics. Okay, and then also we have examples of plants. So we have the xerophytic plants. Okay, so xerophytic plants, these are drought resistant plants such as cacti. Okay, thorn bushes, and then we have dwarf acacias. Okay, so these are the examples. Okay, so these ones are thorn bushes. Okay, so I hope we know these ones. These are thorn bushes, And then also we have the cacti. Okay, these are cactus plants. Okay, so these are cactus plants of the desert. So these ones basically they are desert plants. And then we have herophytes. Okay, so these are plants. Okay, these plants adapt to survive in saline or salt soils. Okay, of hot deserts caused by intense evaporation. So those are some of the plants. So they can ask on uh, uh, hot desert plants, and then there are features. So we need to know the features. Okay. Then also we look into the other one. So the other type of climatic regions, and also the other type of climate we have the savanna. Okay, the savanna or Sudan climate. So take note of the points where we have the savanna. So the savanna lies in this belt, okay? This belt over here. So this is the savanna, okay? From there, and then it goes like this. So this is the savanna. And then also here we have one part of Australia there. And then here we have one part of South America. So they all have savanna type of climate. Okay, so even our country has the savanna type of climate, okay? So in here we have the savanna or Sudan climate is confined within the tropics. Okay, the belt includes West Africa, Sudan, okay, and then also then caves southwards, okay, to East Africa, into East Africa and Southern Africa, north of the Tropic of Capricorn, okay. So we have also in America, in South America, there is Llanos, okay, of the that is Orinoco, okay, Orinoco Basin. This one here, okay, Llanos, this is Llanos, okay, of Orinoco Basin, and the campus, okay, of Brazilian Highlands. And then we have also the campus of the Brazilian Highlands. So these are campus, okay. So we can also look at the other one. So in the other sides, okay, so the Australian savanna is located in South Monsoon Strip, okay, running from west to east, okay, north of the Tropic of Capricorn. So in here we have this one here, okay. So this is one of the savanna, Australian savanna, okay. So we need to know these points, okay. It's very, very important because they might put a particular mark here, and then they will state which climate is experienced by this place. So you have to know this is savanna, okay. And then this belt of Africa, you need to know that this is savanna, okay. There is savanna, and then there is savanna. So it's important, okay. And then we have characteristics of the rainfall. So in terms of rainfall, in the southern hemisphere, the rain seasons is from October to March, okay. So it's October to March. That's the point where rainfall is experienced, okay. So you need to master this, okay. And then also we have the representation, okay. So let's look at the representation. So rains begin in March, okay, March, and then they go to June, okay, July, August, September, and then we have October, November. So these particular periods, that's where we have rains, okay, this period, okay. But in the others, like December, there is no rain, and then also this particular period, there are no rains there. So the rains, they are in March, okay, starting from April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. That's it. And then when it comes to temperatures, okay, temperatures, they go nearly 36, 37, okay, 36, 37, and then down the strip, okay, and then they fall sometimes to 26, okay, 22, 23, so somewhere there, okay. So we can see this one here. We can state the monthly temperatures hovers 21 degrees, okay, to 32 degrees. So we have 32 degrees, but sometimes it goes beyond 32 degrees, okay. So 32 degrees is one of it, okay. So we can see the actual temperature range. Most of the times they can give you a scale. So mostly for savanna is the temperatures are within 32, but 32 is the maximum. Okay, but in other books they will put 36, 37, okay, but those are some of the ranges, but not 40. Okay, so in here we can state the type of vegetation. So the type of vegetation, okay, in equatorial climate, okay, we have the mayomba, and then we have the baobab tree. Okay, so these are some of the vegetation. Okay, and then we have acacias. Okay, so those are some of the trees. And then we have the characteristics of the natural vegetation. Okay, so the savanna type of vegetation is made up of tall grass. Okay, and short scattered trees. So they have long roots and thick barks to reduce water loss due to transpiration. So many trees are umbrella shaped. Okay, so the umbrella shaped. Let me try to state this one. Main trees are umbrella shaped, okay, to shield their roots from the scorching heat, okay. And then trees are drought resistant, okay, it's such as the baobab, okay. And then trees are deciduous, okay, in nature, okay. That is it. They shed their leaves during the dry season. So most of the time they shed their leaves during the dry season, okay. And then now we can look at the other one, okay. So here I'll also talk about the calculation of temperature. Okay, how do we calculate temperature? So temperature is also important to calculate. Okay, so they can ask you on how to calculate temperature. So in here, I'll talk about different calculations. Okay, so the first one, which we have, I'll define what do you know temperature range is. So they can ask you about do you know temperature range. So do you know temperature range? This is the difference between the highest temperature and the lowest temperature. Okay, so that is do you know temperature range, okay? So the formula is do you know temperature range, highest minus lowest temperature. So if they give you the table, if you want to find the do you know temperature range, you subtract highest minus lowest, okay? And then also the second one is the mean annual temperature. Okay, so the mean annual temperature, okay, it is got by getting the average temperature for each month and divide the total by the number of months in a year. Okay, so that is mean annual temperature. Okay, so we have mean annual temperature, mean month temperature for a year over 12 months. Okay, so this is the formula. So you have to know these formulas. Okay, so the examiners, they don't provide these formulas, but you need to know them. Okay, so I'll show you the usage of these formulas. Let's try to look at rainfall. So when you are recording rainfall, okay, so rainfall basically can be given by the formulas. Okay, so we have mean monthly rainfall. So mean monthly rainfall can be given by sum of daily total, okay, sum of daily total for a month over sum of days in a month. So this is the formula that we use for calculating mean monthly rainfall, okay. So the particular formula is useful, I'll show you. And then we have the second one. So the second one is mean annual rainfall. So this one can be defined as this is the sum of the mean monthly rainfall for a year divided by 12 months of the year. Okay, so in here we have mean annual rainfall can be given by sum of the monthly rainfall in a year divided by 12 months. Okay, so we can see this by questions. I'll show you from the questions, okay? So in the questions, I'll start with, okay, I'll start with the first part, okay? So this question is coming from 2022 November, okay? So the question went on to state, study the world map and answer the questions from 31 and 32. So we have 31 and 32, okay? So this is the world map, okay? And then the examiner can ask you, okay, the area marked Y experiences dash climate. So what climate is experienced by this? And then what type of a desert is this one, okay? So we have to know the Namib desert, okay? So let's look back into the Namib desert. Okay, if we look here, if I take you to this part, okay, okay, if we look at this particular point, we have this particular Namib desert. So we have Namib desert, okay? So in Namib desert, basically, if we see Namib desert is here, okay? And then what type of, what climate is experienced on the Namib desert? So this is from the question part, okay? So from there, if we look at that, the Namibi Desert, it is present here. This is Namibi, okay? If here there is Kalahari and then so many others, okay? So the climate there is said to be, that is a hot desert, okay? So we can say it's a hot desert. And then we can look at the other one, the other question from the same part. So in the same 2022, the examiner went on to ask, okay, which of the following plant species are found in area Y? So what are those particular plants, okay? So the plants that are found in a hot desert, we can say cacti. So cacti plants are found in there, okay? Let's try to see. So cacti plants, if we look back in the previous pages, okay, I hope you saw the cacti plant, okay? So those ones are found in there. And then we look at the other one. So the other question is about, okay, calculating the temperature range. So this question, I took it from one sample paper. So this paper was 2021, okay. So the question went on to state, study the table below and answer the question from 21 and 22. Okay, so this is the precipitate in Celsius, okay, and then we have, temperature in Celsius, and then we have precipitation in millimeters. Okay, so this is the temperature. And then this is the precipitation in millimeters, okay? And then 21 went on to state, what is the temperature range of the station shown in the table above? So the temperature range can be given by this formula. So let's look at the formula. Okay, let me try to put up the formula. So the formula that we use is, do you know temperature range? Okay, do you know temperature range is equal to highest minus lowest temperature. Okay, so we look at the highest temperature. So what is our highest temperature? 37, okay, and then what is we check, 37 is the highest temperature. If we look at the whole strip here, 37 is the highest temperature, and then what is the lowest? If we inspect carefully, 22 appears to be the lowest, okay? So you go on to state 37, which is the highest, minus 22, which is the lowest, okay? And then from there, what you get 15 degrees Celsius, okay? So 15 degrees Celsius is what you get. So our answer there, it is C, 15 degrees Celsius, okay? And then we can move on to the other side, okay? So we have 2021, okay? Study the following climatic table showing the mean monthly precipitation for a station, okay? For a station A, and answer the question, and answer question 27. So this is question 27. So how do we calculate the mean precipitation? So this is about the calculation for rainfall, okay? So we have month, so this is the month, and then we have temperature, okay, and then we have rainfall, okay. Now we are calculating what is the mean annual rainfall for station A above, okay? So we have mean annual rainfall calculation, okay? So the mean annual rainfall, okay, so the mean annual rainfall is given by sum of the monthly rainfall in a year divided by 12 months, okay? So you sum up the amount of rainfall. So sum of the monthly rainfall in a year divided by 12 months. So you sum up, you add everything in here. You add everything in this particular strip, and then you divide by 12. So like this, but I ignored the zeros, because zeros, when you add 38 plus 15 plus 20 plus 30 plus 15 plus 15 plus 20, these zeros, when you add them, they will give you 0 again. And then there are 8 plus 18 plus 36. Okay, so you get the total. So here, this is how I added. But here, the zeros, I didn't just include them. But you can include the zeros, okay? But you get 0, okay? So you can say 38 plus 15 plus 15 plus 20, and then plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, you get a 0, and then plus 8, and then plus 18 plus 36, okay? And then you divide by 12 months, and then what you are getting is 150. So when you get 150, you divide by 12, okay? When you add everything on top there, you divide by 12. When you say 150 into 12, you get 12.5 millimeters. So this is what you get, okay? So our answer there, it is C, okay, which is 12.5. So that's how you calculate. And then moving on to the other question. So this question was from 2015 November. So the examiner there went on to state, study the graph below and answer questions from 31 to and 32. So we have temperature in Celsius and then we have rainfall. Now we have to know the strip of this temperature. Okay, what is this strip of temperature? So this strip of temperature, if you see, it is ranging somewhere 20, or let me just say 28, 29. Okay, and then going above to nearly 35, 39, and 40. So this one is, if you look at the particular temperature, where temperature begins to increase. So temperature is increasing in May, okay, June, July, August, September. So if you reflect back in the previous pages, we looked at the desert, okay? So a desert has the temperature ranges. Temperature increases mostly in summer, okay? May, June, July, August, September, okay? That's where we have temperature. And then there are no rains that are experienced in the summer, okay? But rains are most in January, and then February, March, April. So if you reflect back on the hot desert, we have this characteristic, okay? Then here also the particular rains begin in October, November, December, okay? That's when we usually have much more rainfall. So what is important is to know the strip of the line. And then when the temperature increases and so forth, the rainfall patterns. So this particular station is for the hot desert, okay? So if they ask you where is the above station located, so this is in the hot desert, okay? Because the characteristics here are of a desert, okay? And then they can ask you now questions of this type. Which of the following is the characteristics of the vegetation in this area? So the characteristics of vegetation in this area, plants are drought resistant. So that's what we can state, okay? So we can say plants are drought resistant. They do not dry easily. They are able to withstand high temperatures. Okay. So dear viewers, let's go on to the other question. Okay. So I have one question from 2020 December. Okay. The examiner there went on to state, study the map of Africa below and answer the questions from 31 to 32. Okay. So this is the map. I hope you're able to remember the strip. This strip. What is this strip? So this strip is the equatorial, or let me not say equatorial. This is savannah, okay? So sorry for that. Savannah climate. This is savannah climate, okay? If you can remember from the particular diagrams which I showed you, this is savannah climate. So you need to master the particular continents and the points. So when it comes to savannah climate, what is important, they can ask you, in 31, the shaded climatic region in the map is, so we can rush to say savannah. This is savannah climate, okay? And then we have this question, 32. The following are characteristics of the vegetation of the shaded area, except, okay? So in here we can state trees umbrella shaped, okay? And then B, trees do not shed their leaves. And then trees have big trunks. Trees have long taproots. So we can say this is not one of the characteristics, okay? The trees, they shed their leaves. They shed their leaves, if you can remember from the previous pages, okay? Trees, they shed their leaves. Oh, let them say trees, they shed their leaves. Now this is opposite. So B is one of it, okay? Let me try to put on B. So B is one of the answer. Except, this is an exception, okay? So the particular savannah, trees, they shed their leaves. But this one is saying trees they do not shed leaves. So this is not one of the answer, okay? And then from there, we can go on to the other side, okay? Let's try to see this particular temperature range. Study the climatic data. So this is 2018. Study the climatic data, okay, below for station Y, and answer the questions that follows, okay? So we have station Y, we have month, and then we have temperature, and then we have precipitation, okay? Now we have to know this per type of data. So what is this data for? So the focus, when you are in an exam, you look at the temperature. How are the temperatures increasing? So here we can see temperature is increasing. Okay, and then also in May, June, July, August, September, the temperature increases and then begin to drop in December. So what type of temperature is this one? So this type of temperature is for a desert. Okay, so if you review back from the table for a desert, we have this type of characteristic. And then what happens to the rains? Rains are experienced, high rainfall is experienced in January, February, March, April. But May, June, July, and to September, there are no rains. And then where do they then start from? They start from October, November, December. This is the point where the rains begin. Okay, so now, what type of climate is this one? So this is a hot desert, okay? That's one thing that you have to take note of. So try to review the pages, and then from there you understand those tables. So when you understand those tables, you won't have difficulties in these particular reviews. So in our case, they can ask you a question. Okay, what type of natural vegetation is associated with station Y? So the vegetation, this is of a hot, the hot desert. So vegetation in there, they are date palms and then cacti. Cacti are the ones which are present in the deserts. Okay, so we can state palm, date palms, and cacti. These are plants of the desert. So we have to take note of this, okay? So master the particular points where the rains begin, and then how temperature gradually increases, okay? And then when temperature reduces. So it's important. I hope you're able to remember the strip of the line. So that strip of the line is important for you to notice, okay? And then we have question 24. Which climatic region is referred as an orchard lands of the world, okay? So this one is just an assignment for you. Okay, I was having mixed answers over this one, so I leave it on to you as an assignment. Okay, so let's try to take up. But this one I was finding hot deserts. There are orchards of lands, but commonly this one I'm not much sure of. Let me leave it as an assignment, so you can put up the actual comment. You can state, okay, the correct answer for this one, okay, for that one. And then we look at 2023 November. So in 2023 November, we have the question, study the climatic graph for town X and answer the questions 27. So in here, we have this particular climate, okay. So we have the particular temperature range. So take note that this is for a Mediterranean. Mediterranean, if you review back, there is 21 degrees of temperature. But here we have 16. Okay, 16 dropping down somewhere to 10, dropping down to 4 degrees. So this climatic condition could be that of the Mediterranean, because the Mediterranean can have the downfall of temperature, and then temperatures are low in there. Okay, so if they ask you what type of climate is experienced in town X, so this is a Mediterranean. Take note that in Savannah is 26 to 27, and then in the range. Hot deserts, they range from 22 up to 30 somewhere there, and then drop to 27. And then equatorial rainforest, they have temperature range from 26 to 30, okay? And then savanna and so forth. So the answer there which we're having is C, okay? So that's the answer there. So review the graphs and then you understand this critically, okay? And then the other questions that we have 2018 November, the examiner went on to state, study the map below and answer questions 25 and 26. So this is one of the map that we are given, okay? Now, what is this region? So if you review back this region, this is a particular part of a desert, okay? So we have one part of a desert. And then from there, they can ask you questions, okay? So the questions are, which one of the following is the climatic characteristics of the shaded area? So the particular climatic characteristics, we can say there is high temperature, there is high annual temperature range. That's one of the characteristics, okay? So we can state there is high temperature because the particular top part there is hot. Okay, so the temperature range is so high. Okay, and then in 26, plants adapt to their climate in the shaded area, except by. So when they say except, they mean not, okay, or an exclusion. That's what they mean by except. So take note of these terms in the exam. They are important, okay? So they are the ones they are points which are correct, but there is one which is not correct. So let's look at the characteristics of the plants of the hot desert. So A, grow long taproots. So this is one of it, okay. And then growing waxy leaves. Of course, this is one of it. C, producing seeds that do not lie dominant. No, the seeds they lie dominant. Okay, so not here is affecting everything. So here we can say this one here is not, because the seeds they can be in the soil for years. Okay, those seeds they are dominant, they are dormant. They can be in the soil for years and years waiting for the rains. If there are no rains, they will remain there. So this is not one of the characteristic. Okay. And then we can say the other one is storing water in the stem. Of course, this is one of it, okay? So our answer there is C. C is not one of the adaptive features of the plants of the hot desert. Okay. Then now we look at 2019 November, okay, as one of the last question. Study the map below and answer question 22. So this is the map. Okay, and then they went on to state 22, what environmental hazard has affected the shaded region? Okay, so what environmental hazards? Okay, so acidic rains, droughts, floods, and then we have tropical storms. We can say drought. Okay, so drought affects these particular regions because here there are no activity. Them say it's hot, so temperature ranges are high. So that makes this particular region to have this environmental hazard. Okay, so we now come to an end of the session. Okay, so please dear viewers, subscribe to my channel. Okay, so if you like the video, please give a thumb up. Okay, share the link onto your friends. Okay, and watch as many videos I will make for geography paper 1. And also those ones who are writing, please review the video as many times as possible so that you get prepared for tomorrow's paper. Okay, so thank you for watching.